When my twin sister walked into my law office 3 days ago, covered in bruises so severe I barely recognized her, something inside me snapped, like dry kindling underfoot. I remember the sharp intake of breath I took, the way the air in the room suddenly felt thick and stale, like the aftermath of a storm. She stood there in the doorway, trembling, her sunglasses perched awkwardly on her swollen face, and I knew, deep in my gut, the way only twins can know, that her husband had done this. "Kesha," I whispered, my voice catching in my throat as I rose from behind my desk, case files forgotten in the scatter of papers. She didn't speak at first, just limped forward and collapsed into the chair across from me, her hands clutching her purse like it was the only thing anchoring her to the world. I locked the door behind her, the click echoing in the quiet space, and knelt down, gently removing those sunglasses. What I saw made my stomach churn. Her left eye sealed shut with purple-black swelling, a split lip crusted with blood, and a gash on her cheek that screamed for stitches she hadn't gotten. Bruises bloomed like ugly flowers on her neck, finger marks, clear as day. "Who did this?" I asked, though I already knew. Her whisper was hoarse, broken. "Marcus. Please, Kenya, don't call the police. He'll kill me if he finds out I came here." I pulled up her sleeves, revealing a road map of horror. Old yellowed bruises overlapping fresh purple ones. Belt welts, cigarette burns like twisted stars, rope marks on her wrists. Defensive wounds scarred her hands, telling tales of fights she couldn't win. My sister, my identical twin, the woman who'd shared my womb and my childhood secrets, reduced to this shell. Rage boiled up in me, hot and unyielding, but I swallowed it down. For now. She begged me not to act, but as she poured out the story, 3 years of hell, starting with control disguised as love, escalating to slaps, punches, chokes, I made a decision. We'd switch places. Identical as we were, no one would know. I'd go into that house as Kesha, gather evidence, and make sure Marcus and his toxic family never touched her again. It was risky, maybe even crossing lines I'd sworn to uphold as a lawyer. But for her, I'd become the justice the system had failed to provide. If you're watching this and feeling that pull in your chest, that mix of horror and resolve, stay with me. This is how I taught a monster a lesson he'll never forget. Before all this, my life was a rhythm of courtrooms and caffeine, sharp suits and sharper arguments. I'm Kenya Matthews, 32 years old, a criminal defense attorney in the city, the kind who fights tooth and nail for clients most people would write off. My days started at dawn with a run through the misty streets, the pound of my sneakers on pavement syncing with my heartbeat, followed by black coffee strong enough to wake the dead. I'd head to the office, a sleek glass building downtown, where the air smelled of polished wood and printer ink, reviewing depositions and building cases that could make or break lives. Evenings were for the gym, boxing 3 times a week, gloves slamming into heavy bags, sweat stinging my eyes as I sparred with partners who pushed me to my limits. It kept me sharp, ready for the ring of real life. Kesha and I had always been two sides of the same coin. Growing up in our small hometown, we were inseparable, mirror images with the same curly hair, brown eyes, and infectious laugh. Mama used to say we were 2 halves of one soul. Switching places in school to full teachers, sharing secrets under the covers with flashlights long past bedtime. The house smelled of her baking, warm apple pies on Sundays, the scent mingling with Daddy's pipe tobacco as he read the paper. We'd play in the backyard, climbing the old oak tree, our giggles carrying on the breeze. But life pulled us apart after high school. I chased ambition to law school in the city, burying myself in books and briefs, clawing my way to partner at the firm. Kesha stayed home, becoming an elementary school teacher, her classroom filled with the chatter of second graders and the chalky smell of blackboards. She found peace in the simple things, reading stories to wide-eyed kids, planting flowers in her garden that bloomed vibrant under her care. Then she met Marcus Johnson. He seemed perfect at first, a pharmaceutical sales rep with a steady job, charming smile, and manners that opened doors and pulled out chairs. At their wedding, Under a canopy of white roses that scented the air sweet and hopeful, he vowed to make her happy forever. I stood there as maid of honor, watching her glow in her lace dress, thinking she deserved this fairy tale. Soon came Aaliyah, my niece, a bundle of joy with Kesha's curls and Marcus's dimples. But distance grew between us. My phone calls went from daily to weekly, then monthly, as my caseload piled up like unread novels on my nightstand. Kesha's life seemed idyllic from afar. Family dinners, school events, holiday cards showing smiling faces. I told myself it was normal. Marriage and motherhood change people. She seemed quieter on calls, her voice softer, like a radio signal fading, but I brushed it off. Busy with the baby, she'd say, and I'd nod, promising to visit soon. Little did I know, under that facade, darkness was brewing, slowly dimming her light while I chased verdicts in fluorescent-lit courtrooms. The first clues came subtly, like whispers in the wind that you dismiss until they howl. It started about a year after Aaliyah was born. I'd call Kesha on a Sunday afternoon, the line crackling slightly as if the connection itself was strained. Her voice, usually bright and bubbling like a stream, sounded muted, hesitant. "Hey sis," she'd say, but there was a pause, a breath held too long. I'd hear background noise, Marcus's deep rumble, or his mother Diane's sharp commentary, and Kesha would hurry the conversation. "Can't talk long, Kenya. Dinner's on the stove." The smell of whatever she was cooking seemed to linger in my imagination, but her tone carried an undercurrent of tension, like strings pulled tight. I noticed the changes in person, too, during rare visits. Once I drove down for Aaliyah's birthday, the car humming along the highway as autumn leaves swirled outside, pulling up to their neat suburban house with its manicured lawn and porch swing creaking gently. Everything looked picture perfect. But inside, the air felt heavy, laced with the faint scent of bleach, as if someone had scrubbed away something unpleasant. Kesha greeted me at the door, her hug quick and light, not the bone-crushing embrace of our youth. She wore long sleeves despite the warm day, and when she turned to pour coffee, I caught a glimpse of a yellowish bruise peeking from her collar. "What happened there?" I asked casually, stirring sugar into my mug, the spoon clinking against ceramic. She tugged her short up, laughing it off, a nervous trill that didn't reach her eyes. Her hands trembled slightly as she set the pot down, and I wanted to press, but Marcus walked in then, all smiles and handshakes, his cologne overpowering the room. "Good to see you, Kenya. Staying for dinner?" His grip was firm, almost too much, and as the evening wore on, I watched how Kesha deferred to him, plating his food first, laughing at his jokes a beat too quickly. Diane, his mother who'd moved in temporarily, sat at the table like a queen, criticizing Kesha's mashed potatoes as a tad lumpy, dear. Tamika, his sister, lounged on the couch demanding a soda without a please, her voice lazy and entitled. I felt a niggle of unease, like a pebble in my shoe, but I ignored it. Families are complicated, I told myself on the drive home, the radio droning softly. Another time, during a video call, Kesha's face filled the screen, but her smile was strained, eyes darting off camera. "How's everything?" I'd ask. "Fine," she'd reply too fast. But then Aaliyah toddled in, and Kesha's expression softened genuinely for a moment, until Marcus called from the other room, his tone sharp. She ended the call abruptly. These moments piled up like unanswered letters, canceled visits, vague excuses, her growing quietness. I suspected something, but my attorney brain rationalized it away. Stress of motherhood, I thought. Work pressures for Marcus. Deep down, though, doubt festered, a quiet suspicion that the perfect life I'd imagined for her was cracking at the seams.
The day the truth finally slapped me in the face was a Tuesday. Nothing special about it on the calendar, just another humid afternoon in late July. I was in my office, blinds half drawn against the sun, the air conditioning humming like a tired lullaby. Papers were stacked high, motions to suppress, plea offers, the usual dance with the devil. My secretary buzzed through, voice low and careful. "Miss Matthews, your sister is here. She don't look right." My stomach dropped before my brain caught up. I told her to send Kesha in and to hold everything, no exceptions. The door opened slowly, like someone was pushing it with the last of their strength. And then she stepped inside. Or limped inside. Sunglasses indoors. Long-sleeved turtleneck in 90-degree heat. Scarf wrapped high around her throat even though sweat beaded on her forehead. She was favoring her left side so badly that every step looked like it cost her something precious. I stood up so fast my chair rolled back and hit the wall with a thud. "Kesha, baby!" I started out of my mouth, but it died when she lifted her head. Even behind the dark lenses, I could see the swelling. I locked the door.
The day the truth finally slapped me in the face was a Tuesday. Nothing special about it on the calendar, just another humid afternoon in late July. I was in my office, blinds half drawn against the sun, the air conditioning humming like a tired lullaby. Papers were stacked high, motions to suppress, plea offers, the usual dance with the devil. My secretary buzzed through, voice low and careful. "Miss Matthews, your sister is here. She don't look right." My stomach dropped before my brain caught up. I told her to send Kesha in and to hold everything, no exceptions. The door opened slowly, like someone was pushing it with the last of their strength, and then she stepped inside. Or limped inside. Sunglasses indoors, long-sleeved turtleneck in 90-degree heat, scarf wrapped high around her throat even though sweat beaded on her forehead. She was favoring her left side so badly that every step looked like it cost her something precious. I stood up so fast my chair rolled back and hit the wall with a thud. "Kesha, baby!" I started out of my mouth, but it died when she lifted her head. Even behind the dark lenses, I could see the swelling. I locked the door, turned the deadbolt, and the click sounded louder than a gunshot in that quiet room. "Take the glasses off," I said, softer than I felt. She shook her head, tears already slipping down her cheeks. I reached up myself, gentle as I could, and slid them off. Lord have mercy. Her left eye was completely shut. The skin around it, black, purple, and shiny, was swelling. Her lip was busted open, crusted dark red. A jagged cut sliced across her cheekbone, and her neck? 4 distinct finger marks on one side, a thumbprint on the other. Somebody had tried to squeeze the life out of my sister. I felt my knees buckle, had to grip the edge of the desk to stay upright. "Roll up your sleeves, Kesha." She whispered, "Please don't make me." I wasn't asking anymore. I pushed the fabric up myself, and the sight stole every bit of air from the room. Bruises layered on bruises, some fresh, some yellow-green and fading. Belt marks striped her forearms where she tried to shield her face. Little round cigarette burns dotted her skin like a cruel constellation. Rope burns circled her wrist, raw and weeping. Defensive wounds crisscrossed the backs of her hands. My vision blurred with tears, but the rage was crystal clear. "How long?" I managed, voice shaking. 3 years, she breathed. "It started small, then it just kept getting worse." 3 years. 3 whole years my twin had been living in hell while I was busy winning cases and buying new pumps. Guilt hit me so hard I had to sit down. She told me everything, words tumbling out like they'd been locked behind a decade. How Marcus tracked her phone, timed her trips to the grocery store, accused her of flirting with the cashier if she took too long. How he'd torn up her favorite dresses because they were asking for attention. How he'd made her quit seeing her friends, then started in on me, saying that I was too bougie, that I made her feel small. How the first slap came the night she forgot to take the trash out. How he dragged her by the hair and slammed her face into the bin. How he cried the next morning, brought roses, promised it would never happen again. How it happened again the next week. And the next. Then his mama, Diane, moved in to help with the baby, and Tamika followed after her divorce, turning the house into a 3-headed monster. Diane nitpicked every breath Kesha took. Tamika treated her like a maid. And Marcus, he gambled away paychecks, came home drunk, and used Kesha's body as punishment. The worst part came in a whisper so broken it barely sounded human. She said, "Last night, Aaliyah was crying because the yelling scared her. Marcus told her to shut up. When she couldn't, he slapped her clean across the face.
"She's 5, Kenya. 5." I tried to stop him and he choked me until I passed out. They all just watched. Then they helped hold me down. I sat there listening, cataloging every detail the way I do with clients, only this time my heart was being shredded with every word. When she finished, she looked up at me with the one eye that could still open and said, "I can't do this anymore. I came here because I didn't know where else to go. But please, don't call the police. He'll kill me. He swore he would." I looked at the woman who used to finish my sentences, who knew when I was sad before I did, who shared my face and my blood, and I saw a ghost wearing my sister's skin. Something inside me went very still, very quiet. The kind of quiet that comes right before a storm tears the sky open. I took her hands, careful because even that made her flinch, and I said, "You won't ever have to do this again. Give me 3 days, just 3 days of your life, and I promise you he'll never put his hands on you again." She blinked, confused. "What are you talking about?" I smiled, and it felt sharp enough to cut glass. "We're going to switch places. You stay here, safe in my apartment. I'm going to that house as you. And I'm going to make sure Marcus Johnson learns what happens when he touches what's mine." She tried to argue, said he was dangerous, said I didn't understand, but I cut her off. "Kesha, I'm not you. I look like you, I sound like you, but I'm not soft where you are. I box, I put murderers and rapists in cages for a living. I know how to hurt back. Let him try me." I saw the moment hope flickered in her bruised face, small and fragile, but there. She nodded just once. That was all I needed. That night, I packed a small bag, kissed my real life goodbye for 72 hours, and drove to the suburbs with Kesha's house keys burning a hole in my pocket. I parked 2 streets over, walked the rest of the way under streetlights that buzzed like angry hornets. The house looked innocent from the outside, cream siding, rose bushes, porch light glowing warm, but I knew better now. I let myself in with her key, the way she'd shown me, heart thudding steady in my chest, not from fear, but from readiness. The smell hit me first. Stale cigarette smoke, cheap wine, and something metallic underneath, like fear has a scent all its own. Diane's voice sliced through the dim hallway before I even closed the door. "Kesha, that you? Dinner better be started, girl. Marcus will be home soon." I slipped off my shoes the way Kesha did, made my shoulders round, my steps small, and walked into the kitchen like a woman who'd been beaten into the ground for years. Diane sat at the table flipping through gossip magazines, wine glass sweating on the table. She didn't even look up. "Make something good tonight. Last night's chicken was dry as hell." I murmured, "Yes, ma'am," soft and broken, just like Kesha would. Inside, I was counting heartbeats, mapping exits, noting where the knives were kept. Tamika waddled in next, demanding chips and soda like I was the help. I brought them without a word, memorizing the sneer on her face. Then Aaliyah appeared at the top of the stairs, little mouse steps, eyes wide and watchful. When she saw me, she whispered, "Mommy?" and ran into my arms. She smelled like baby shampoo and crayons. Her tiny body shook against mine. I held her tight and promised her silently, "Not one more day, baby. Not one." At 8:07, the garage door rumbled open. Marcus was home.
The garage door groaned shut, and heavy footsteps echoed through the house. I set Aaliyah down gently, whispering for her to go play in her room, and turned toward the kitchen. My pulse was steady, but every sense was heightened. The faint clink of keys hitting the counter, the sharp tang of bourbon already on the air before he even appeared. Marcus stormed in, tie loosened, eyes bloodshot from whatever poison he'd poured down his throat after work. He was a big man, broad shoulders straining his shirt, the kind of build that intimidates without effort. But I wasn't intimidated. I was cataloging. Height, about 6'2", weight, around 200, right-handed from the way he swung his briefcase down. "Kesha," he barked, not a greeting, just a demand. "Where's my damn dinner?" His voice carried that low rumble, the one Kesha had described as the warning before the storm. Diane perked up from her magazine, ready to join in, and Tamika paused her TV show, smirking like she knew what was coming.
"It's ready," I said softly, plating the steak and potatoes I'd cooked earlier. I'd made sure it was bland, salt forgotten on purpose, a small act of rebellion to test the waters. I set it in front of him at the table, hands steady, eyes down like Kesha would. He stabbed into the meat, chewed once, and his face twisted. He spat it back onto the plate with a wet smack that turned my stomach. "What the hell is this garbage?" He shoved the plate away, knocking over his water glass. The spill spread across the wood like a slow accusation. "You can't do anything right, can you? I work my ass off all day, and this is what I come home to." Diane chimed in right on cue, voice dripping with fake sympathy. "I told you, Marcus. She don't know how to season nothing proper." Tamika laughed from the couch, loud and mocking. "Girl acts like she's feeding dogs." I stood by the stove, not moving, not flinching. Marcus rose slowly, chair scraping back with a screech that set my teeth on edge. He approached me the way predators do, slow, deliberate, towering. In the past, Kesha would have backed away, apologized, made herself small. I held my ground, looked him right in the eyes. That was my first mistake in character, but I couldn't help it. The attorney in me stared at monsters every day. He raised his hand, open palm, aiming for a slap to humiliate. I saw it coming, telegraphed like a bad punch in the ring. As it swung toward my face, I caught his wrist midair, fingers locking tight. The shock in his eyes was almost worth the whole charade. Wide, disbelieving, like the world had tilted. He was used to overpowering a woman who didn't fight back. But my grip was iron from years of boxing. I squeezed just enough to make his bones grind. "Not tonight, Marcus," I said, voice still soft but edged with steel he'd never heard from her. "I've had a long day too." He yanked, but I held for a count of 3, long enough to drive the point home, then released. He stumbled back, rubbing his wrist, face flushing red with fury and embarrassment. Diane gasped, hand to her chest like she'd seen a ghost. Tamika bolted up. "You lost your mind, girl?" Marcus just stared, breathing heavy, trying to recalibrate. I could see the wheels turning. Confusion, then calculation. He wasn't used to resistance. "Dinner's getting cold," I said, calmly, turning away as if nothing had happened. "Y'all eat up." I walked upstairs without looking back, leaving them in stunned silence. My heart pounded now, adrenaline singing in my veins. That was the first crack in their armor. Upstairs, I tucked Aaliyah into bed, reading her a story about a brave princess who outsmarted a dragon. Her little hand clutched mine as she drifted off, breath evening out soft and even. I sat there in the dim lamplight, the room smelling of lavender lotion and innocence, making silent vows. Around 11, I heard them coming, 2 sets of footsteps creeping up the stairs. Diane and Tamika, whispering harshly. I'd expected this. Abusers don't like upstarts. I stepped into the hallway, closing Aaliyah's door quietly behind me. They stood there, arms crossed, faces hard in the shadows. "We need to talk," Diane hissed, voice like nails on chalkboard, "about your little attitude downstairs." "Yeah," Tamika added, stepping closer. "You think you can disrespect Marcus in his own house?" I kept my voice even. "The deed's in my name, actually. Down payment from my parents. Y'all are guests, here. Guests who don't pay a dime." Diane's eyes narrowed, face going blotchy. "That money was Marcus's hard work." Tamika shoved me then, palm flat on my shoulder. Not hard, but testing. I didn't budge. "Don't touch me again." "Or what?" Another shove, harder. Still, I held firm, staring her down until uncertainty flickered in her eyes. "Let make this clear," I said, dropping the softness now, letting my courtroom chill seep in. "I've documented everything. The bruises, the burns, the assaults. Photos, medical records, neighbor statements. Felony domestic violence. Y'all are accessories. Conspiracy. 5 to 10 years each." They went pale as milk. Diane stammered. "You can't prove." "I'm a lawyer," I cut in. "Proving is my job. Go to your rooms. Don't touch me. Tomorrow we talk about changes." I turned back to Aaliyah's room, leaving them gaping. Sleep didn't come easy that night. I lay awake, ears tuned to every creak, but they didn't try anything. Cowards when challenged. Morning came with birds chirping outside, mocking the tension inside. I made breakfast for Aaliyah, pancakes with syrup smiles. Got her dressed, her tiny fingers buttoning her shirt with concentration.
Diana and Tamika stayed in their rooms, doors cracked, whispering. Marcus had crashed on the couch, snoring off his drunk. I dropped Aaliyah at school, the car ride filled with her chatter about crayons and friends, a brief oasis of normal. Back home, Marcus was waiting, sober and seething. Bedroom, now. Upstairs, door shut. He grabbed my arm, fingers digging deep, bruising fresh over old. "You're hurting me," I said calmly. "Good." He squeezed harder, then pulled back for a punch. I moved then, deflected his arm, hip through him, swept his leg. He crashed down hard, breath whooshing out. I stood over him. "Don't ever try that again." Walked out, heart racing but mind clear. I'd installed a hidden camera the night before. It caught everything, evidence stacking. He called the cops an hour later, playing victim. 2 officers arrived, 1 grizzled vet, 1 wide-eyed rookie. Marcus spun his tail. I attacked him, gone crazy. I met them at the door with a folder. "Officers, he assaulted me this morning. Here's proof." Medical records, photos, the video on my phone. Marcus grabbing, threatening, swinging. The vet's face hardened as he flipped through. "How long, ma'am?" I laid it out, voice steady. They turned to Marcus, who blanched. "We're filing a report. Any more calls, you're arrested." They left and Marcus's face was a mask of humiliated rage. Physical force failed. Law failed. He was cornered. That evening, Tamika called her boyfriend Dre, big guy, all muscle, to intimidate. She left us alone in the living room. He loomed, grabbing for my arm. "Heard you're causing problems." I sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, hip threw him through the coffee table. Crash of wood and glass. He lay there stunned. "That's assault. On camera." He fled. Tamika screamed, but the fear was real now. That night, hidden mics caught their plot. Sleeping pills in my coffee, fake breakdown, institutionalize me, steal custody. My blood chilled, but I was ready. Next morning, I watched Diane crush the pills, stir them in, pretended to sip, then dumped it. Faked drowsiness, slumped on the couch. They hovered, called for help. Then I sat up. I didn't drink it, recorded everything. Attempted poisoning, Class B felony. Terror hit them like a wave. I laid out the evidence folder, years of abuse documented, fresh assaults on video, their conspiracy on tape. "I'm Kesha's twin, Kenya, attorney. You've been played." Faces drained white. I gave options: prison or divorce, full custody to Kesha, child support, house hers, them out in 24 hours, restraining orders. They chose divorce, sobbing, signing with shaking hands.
Kesha and I walked into that house side by side, our steps in sync the way they always were when we were kids. The air inside felt different now, still heavy, but cracking, like ice thawing under spring sun. Marcus, Diane, and Tamika were huddled in the living room, faces drawn and puffy from whatever tears or arguments they'd had while I was gone. When they looked up and saw 2 of us, identical down to the curls framing our faces, their expressions shattered. Confusion first, then dawning horror as the pieces clicked. Marcus's mouth fell open, soundless, like a fish gasping on dry land. Diane clutched her chest, whispering, "Lord Jesus," over and over. Tamika just stared, eyes darting between us, her perpetual sneer wiped clean. "Hello, Marcus," Kesha said, her voice soft but steady for the first time in years. She stood a little taller beside me, drawing strength from the mirror of herself that hadn't been broken. He stammered, pointing a shaking finger. But how? You've been here." "My sister saved me," Kesha continued, glancing at me with eyes full of quiet gratitude. "She did what I couldn't. She fought for me. And now, you're going to give me my freedom." I spread the divorce papers across the kitchen table, the crisp white sheets rustling softly under my fingers. "Sign here, here, and initial there." My tone was all business, the same one I used in depositions to strip away lies. Marcus picked up the pen, hand trembling so badly, it took him 3 tries to grip it. He scanned the terms: full custody to Kesha, no visitation, $3,000 monthly child support until Aaliyah turned 18, the house staying in her name, restraining orders for all 3 of them. His eyes lingered on the numbers, the finality of it all. "I could kill you for this," he muttered,
looking straight at me, a last spark of that old rage flickering. I leaned in, close enough to smell the sweat and fear on him. Try it. Give me one reason to call the DA right now and bury you under those charges. I'm begging you. Our eyes locked, and I saw him break, not with tears, but with defeat, the bully crumbling when the bluff was called. He signed. Page after page, the pens scratching like nails on a coffin lid. Diane was next, her agreement to vacate and forfeit any claims. She glared at me through tears, lips pressed thin. "You're evil, a devil in disguise." "No," I said evenly, sliding the papers toward her. "I'm justice. There's a big difference." She signed with a flourish of resentment, her hand slamming the pen down after. Tamika went last, silent for once, no snide remarks, just a defeated scribble before pushing the stack away like it burned her. When it was done, I gathered everything neatly, tucking it into my bag. "You have until 5 p.m. tomorrow to be out. Take your things, nothing of Kesha's or Aaliyah's. I'll be here with a deputy to make sure." Marcus stood then, towering but somehow smaller, shoulders slumped. "Who are you really? What kind of person does something like this?" The kind who protects her family, the kind who doesn't let monsters hide behind closed doors. I took Kesha's hand, warm, steady now, and we walked out together, the door clicking shut behind us like the end of a chapter. The evening air was cooler, carrying the scent of cut grass from a neighbor's lawn, and for the first time in days, I breathed deep. Word spread like wildfire in their small town. Suburbs have a way of turning whispers into shouts. By the next morning, as I supervised the move out with a stern-faced sheriff's deputy standing sentinel on the porch, neighbors were peeking from curtains, phones in hand. Marcus loaded boxes into a rented U-Haul, face flush under the stairs, Diane muttering curses as she hauled suitcases. Tamika slammed doors, her boyfriend Dre showing up to help, but avoiding my gaze like I was the plague. The deputy watched it all, arms crossed, his radio crackling occasionally with static. One neighbor, Mrs. Ellis, from across the street, an older woman with a garden of roses that always smelled sweet on the breeze, approached me hesitantly. "Is everything okay, Kesha? I mean, I heard things sometimes, yelling, but I didn't want to pry." Her voice was soft, laced with guilt. I nodded, keeping my voice low. "It's over now. But if you hear something next time, anywhere, call it in. Could save a life." She nodded back, eyes misty, and by evening, the story was buzzing on the local Facebook groups. "Did y'all see the Johnsons moving out? Heard there was police involved. Something about abuse." Comments poured in, shock, sympathy for Kesha, outrage at Marcus. "I always knew he was off," one said. "Poor woman and that little girl." At work, Marcus's job didn't last long. Pharmaceutical sales relies on charm and trust, and when whispers reached his boss, anonymous tips about the divorce, the restraining order, the evidence of violence, he was called into a meeting. I didn't have to do a thing. The system, for once, worked on its own. He was let go quietly, restructuring the official reason, but everyone knew. His gambling debts caught up too, creditors calling, no steady paycheck to hide behind. Last I heard, he moved back with distant relatives, scraping by on odd jobs, his reputation in tatters. In family court weeks later, when Marcus tried to contest custody, hiring a cheap lawyer who stuttered through arguments, I represented Kesha pro bono. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with wire-rimmed glasses, reviewed my evidence packet. Medical reports, videos, audio of their conspiracy. She didn't even let Marcus's side finish. "Parental rights terminated," she ruled, gavel cracking sharp. "No contact, restraining order extended." The courtroom murmured, reporters in the back scribbling notes. Local news picked it up. Abusive husband loses custody in dramatic case. Kesha's name stayed out, but Marcus's didn't. Justice, public and pointed. The community rallied around Kesha in ways I hadn't expected. Parents from Aaliyah's school dropped off casseroles, the steam rising savory from foil-covered dishes. Her principal offered flexible hours, understanding in her eyes. Even I felt the ripple. Clients at my firm nodding respect. "Heard about your sister.
good on you." But the real consequence was the silence that followed, the absence of fear. No more flinching at doors slamming, no more long sleeves in summer. Marcus and his family were ghosts now, scattered and shamed, their power stripped bare for all to see.
The house felt like a battlefield after the smoke cleared. Empty rooms echoing with the ghosts of what had been, but also breathing freer, lighter, as if the walls themselves were exhaling. The next morning, I arrived at dawn with the deputy, the sun just peeking over the rooftops, casting long shadows that danced across the dew-kissed lawn. Marcus's U-Haul was already gone, taillights long faded into the night. Inside, the air carried the faint mustiness of hasty packing. Half-folded clothes spilling from drawers, empty hangers swaying like forgotten accusations. Diane had left a spiteful note on the kitchen counter. "You got what you deserved." I crumpled it without reading more, the paper crackling under my fingers, and tossed it into the trash where it belonged. We changed the locks that day, the locksmith's drill whirring sharp and final, each turn a lock on the past. I installed visible cameras next, sleek black eyes watching the doors, their red lights blinking like sentinels. Kesha wandered the room slowly, Aaliyah's hand in hers, touching the familiar surfaces as if relearning them. "It's mine again," she whispered, voice thick, running her palm over the granite counter where Marcus had once pinned her down. Aaliyah giggled at the new robot eyes, pressing her nose to the lens, leaving a smudgy print. We painted that weekend, soft blues and yellows, the roller sloshing in trays, the scent of fresh latex paint mingling with takeout pizza. For the first time, the house smelled like home, not like fear. Over the weeks that followed, I watched Kesha bloom, petal by petal, in ways that mended something deep in me too. Her laughter returned first, tentative at the dinner table over spaghetti we'd made together, the sauce bubbling rich with garlic, her fork twirling noodles as she teased Aaliyah about the marinara on her chin. "Look at you, sauce monster," she'd say. And Aaliyah would dissolve into squeals, wiping her face with exaggerated swipes. Kesha started running again, lacing up her old sneakers for dawn jogs around the block, her breaths coming steady and strong, curls bouncing under the rising sun. She went back to teaching, her classroom once more filled with the rustle of construction paper and the murmur of eager voices. "Ms. Matthews," a parent told me over coffee one day, the steam curling warm from our mugs, "your sister's got her spark back. The kids light up when she reads to them." Aaliyah changed most of all, and that was the healing that hit hardest. The wide-eyed wariness faded from her gaze. She stopped jumping at the slam of a car door outside, instead bounding to the window to wave at passing neighbors. At school she made friends, real ones, the kind who shared crayons and secrets under picnic tables. Her drawings shifted too, from stick figures huddled in corners, to bright scenes of her and Mommy holding hands under a rainbow, both smiling wide with sunshine hair. One evening, as we sat on the porch swing creaking gently in the breeze, she crawled into my lap, smelling of playground dirt and strawberry shampoo. "Aunt Kenya, can we get a puppy? Mommy says yes now." I hugged her close, the weight of her trust settling warm in my chest. "Anything you want, baby girl." As for Marcus and his shadow family, their unraveling was quiet but complete, like a house of cards folding in on itself. The child support checks arrived like clockwork, $3,000 monthly wired. A bitter reminder etched in ink. He'd sold his sleek company car for a rattling beater, the kind that coughed blue smoke on startup. Word came through mutual acquaintances that he was crashing with cousins in a cramped apartment. The walls thin enough to hear every regret. No more sales pitches to doctors, no more bourbon-fueled rages, just a man diminished, his charm curdled into something sour. Diane's bankruptcy hit the papers, her once proud widow's pension gone to cover the settlement. She rented a sagging duplex across town, the kind with peeling paint and neighbors who argued through the night. Tamika's return to her ex was its own punishment, texts from old friends painting pictures of shouting matches and slammed doors. Her freeloading days over. I didn't gloat, not out loud, but in quiet moments, driving home with the radio humming low, I'd feel a grim satisfaction knowing the cycle was broken, at least for us. Kesha dated tentatively 6 months in. A fellow teacher named Jamal, with kind eyes and a laugh that rumbled easy. They met at a school mixer, over plates of rubbery chicken and lukewarm punch.
talking books and lesson plans. I vetted him, of course. Background check cleaner than a whistle, references glowing. Their first date was coffee at a corner cafe, the air thick with espresso and possibility. She came home with flushed cheeks, recounting his jokes over tea, steam rising between us like shared secrets. He's patient, Kenya. No rush. That's all I needed to hear. She didn't need a prince to save her. She was saving herself, one careful step at a time. Healing wasn't linear, though. There were nights when the thunder rolled outside, and Kesha would wake gasping, sheets twisted around her like restraints. I'd find her in the kitchen at 3 a.m., staring into a mug of untouched chamomile, the herbal scent gone cold. "What if he comes back?" she'd whisper, fingers tracing old scars. I'd sit beside her, our knees touching under the table, and remind her, he's gone. Legally, financially, forever. And if he tries, I'm here. We're here. Therapy helped. Sessions in a cozy office with plants trailing from shelves, where she unpacked the shame like unwrapping fragile glass. Aaliyah saw a counselor too, drawing out her fears with crayons, turning monsters into silly scribbles. Me? I threw myself into cases, but added pro bono work for domestic violence survivors, building their evidence packets with the same precision I'd used for Kesha. Each folder closed felt like another lock turned. One afternoon, months later, we three went to the park, the one with the old oak tree that reminded me of our childhood. Aaliyah chased butterflies across the grass, her laughter pealing clear as bells. We sat on a bench, ice cream cones dripping in the sun, vanilla melting sticky down our fingers. She ran back, breathless, and climbed between us. "Aunt Kenya," she said, licking chocolate from her lips, "thank you for saving Mommy." Her eyes, so like Kesha's, held no fear, just pure, unshadowed trust. I swallowed hard, glancing at my sister, who squeezed my hand. I used to be scared all the time, of Daddy yelling, of Grandma's mean words. But now we're happy. In that moment, with the breeze rustling leaves overhead, and the taste of summer on our tongues, I knew it was worth every risk, every crossed line.
I'm Kenya Matthews, 32 years old, criminal defense attorney, and for 3 days I became my twin sister so I could walk through hell in her shoes and drag the devil out by his neck. People still ask me, quietly, almost afraid to hear the answer, "Do you regret it? Do you lose sleep over the lines you crossed?" My answer never changes. Not for one heartbeat. Because I've seen what proper channels do to women like Kesha. I've watched them stand in courtrooms with black eyes hidden under makeup, clutching folders of police reports that go nowhere. I've watched judges give joint custody to men who put cigarettes out on their children's mothers. I've watched women leave 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, only to be found in a ditch because a piece of paper called a restraining order couldn't stop a bullet or a fist or a man who decided she didn't deserve to breathe without him. So no, I don't lose sleep. I sleep like a baby because my sister is alive. Because my niece goes to bed without covering her ears. Because every month, when that child support wire hits Kesha's account, Marcus is reminded, in the most peaceful way possible, that there is a price for terrorizing the innocent, and he is still paying it. If you're watching this right now, and you're wearing long sleeves in summer, if you flinch when a door slams, if you're reading this on silent with the brightness turned all the way down so he doesn't notice, hear me. Please, you are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not asking for it. You are surviving something most people cannot even imagine. And the fact that you are still here means you are already stronger than he can't see. A fighter. Start small, but start today. Take pictures of every mark. Save every threatening text. Email them to yourself, to a friend, to a secret account, anywhere he can't find them. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline 1-800-799-7233 or text START to 88788. They will not judge you, they will not rush you, they will just help you build a plan. You do not need a twin sister who boxes and practices law. You just need one next step, then another, until the day you wake up and realize the air doesn't taste like fear anymore. And to the rest of you, the ones who are safe tonight, be the person you would have needed when you were scared. Ask the hard question. Offer the couch, the spare phone, the ride to the shelter. Believe her the first time she tells you, because silence is the only thing abusers truly count on. 3 days. That's all it took to break 3 years of terror. 3 days of careful evidence, calculated risks, and a love that refused to look away. If this story lit even a tiny flame of hope in you, if it made you angry enough to act, if it reminded you that monsters lose when good people stop playing by rules that only protect the monsters, then hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Comment your city, your state, your country. Let every survivor watching tonight how far this message is traveling. Because we are louder together. My sister is free. My niece is safe. And I am at peace. Thank you for listening with your whole heart. Stay soft where the world needs kindness, but stay hard where the world needs justice. This is Kenya Matthews, signing off. Peace, family, and power. Always power. The end.